Hi, this is Sally's Book Talk, bringing you the world's best books every single day. Today we're diving into a book called Influence. Ever wondered why realtors always show clients the worst properties first? Why do supermarkets love offering free samples? Why would a misprinted $1 bill be worth hundreds times its face value? All these questions find answers in Influence, authored by Robert Cialdini, the godfather of influence, renowned social psychologist and global authority on persuasion. Cialdini's career revolves around influence, consulting for Fortune 500 companies like Google, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, and institutions like Harvard Kennedy School. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man, vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, once said, Cialdini's work on influence impacted me more than any other scientist's. Continuously popular since 1986, translated into 26 languages with over 3 million copies sold worldwide, still topping Amazon's bestsellers in consumer behavior and applied psychology categories. This 290,000-word masterpiece contains 8 chapters. How exactly do people persuade us? How can we harness influence for greater success? Let's explore the book through 2 key perspectives. First, what exactly is influence? What fundamental conditions enable its creation? Second, how to wield influence effectively and resist being manipulated by others' tactics. Let's start with our first question, defining influence. Literally, it's the power to affect others' decisions. Specifically, it's altering thoughts and actions through methods people willingly accept. The book reveals that skillfully applied influence can manipulate thinking like psychological weaponry. Take Apple's early iPhone launches in China as example. New model releases always saw massive queues, with fans camping overnight just to be first. When average phone prices were 1,000 to 2,000 yuan, iPhones costing 6,000 to 8,000 became luxury items overnight. Not all buyers were wealthy. Many saved up painfully, hence the selling kidneys for iPhones meme. So, what's the actual magic power controlling people's irrational purchasing behavior? This is influence in action. When external forces manipulate your subconscious into actions against your initial will, creating involuntary reflexes, beware. We're being controlled by invisible influence mechanisms. The book identifies 3 trigger types that activate our reflex responses, making us slaves to influence. What are these 3? First, fixed behavior patterns, mental autopilot, like when habits become second nature. Cialdini states human behavior largely follows these pre-programmed patterns. When encountering situations, people instinctively react using past experience. Let's examine another case. Most men instinctively look twice when attractive women pass by. This demonstrates fixed behavior patterns triggered by visual stimuli. It activates primal mating instincts. Evolution has hardwired countless such response patterns into our brains. Specific triggers can unconsciously activate these mechanisms. Second trigger type, mental shortcuts. Cialdini's emerald example. A jewelry store doubled prices accidentally, causing rush purchases. Did customers suddenly become gem experts? Or did emerald quality magically improve? Neither. People defaulted to expensive equals better mentality. When lacking expertise, we rely on price as quality proxy through mental shortcuts. The third trigger type, contrast principle. Apple's pricing strategy leveraged market comparisons to create perceived value, driving desire through contrast. Take real estate agents showing dilapidated properties first. Why? Agents intentionally show overpriced fixer-uppers before revealing target properties, creating contrast-induced satisfaction. This tactic powerfully demonstrates contrast principle effectiveness. These 3 triggers, fixed patterns, mental shortcuts, contrast principle, reveal influence's basic mechanics. These triggers form influence's foundation, enabling its operation through various pathways. Cialdini identifies 6 fundamental influence principles acting as operational pathways. Now, to our second question, what are these 6 principles of influence? How do they function? And crucially, how to resist them. The six principles: reciprocity, obligation to repay favors, commitment, consistency, social proof, liking, authority, scarcity. These principles constitute influence's operational framework. Persuasion experts skillfully weaponize these mechanisms. First principle, reciprocity. The give and take rule. We feel compelled to return favors received. Why does reciprocity work? Humans instinctively avoid being perceived as takers. Social survival demands reciprocal fairness. This universal social contract makes reciprocity influence's strongest ally. Cialdini explains reciprocity enforces mutual concessions through sequential compliance mechanisms. Let's take example. Businesses often give free samples to gauge interest, which also serves as gifts triggering reciprocity, ostensibly promoting product awareness but secretly creating psychological debt. Many feel guilty just taking freebies from salespeople without purchasing. This compelled purchasing demonstrates reciprocity principle in action. The second approach, rejection then retreat tactic. People reciprocate concessions, making initial compromises powerful triggers. Similar to strategic retreat concept in military tactics, compared to basic reciprocity, this tactic demonstrates advanced manipulation. In marketing, rejection then retreat proves devastatingly effective. Example: spa consultants first propose 3 treatment packages before settling for single. After price objections, they compromise to cheaper option. Clients perceive concession and feel obligated to reciprocate. Social obligation makes refusal harder after apparent compromise. Direct single treatment offers yield significantly worse results. Does reciprocity's power make us helpless victims? No. First, assess requests' authenticity versus manipulation. Accept genuinely beneficial offers freely. Reject calculated manipulative attempts without guilt. Recognizing tactical concessions nullifies manufactured obligations. Second principle, commitment and consistency. Humans crave alignment between words and actions. Choices create internal or external pressures, maintaining behavioral consistency. This pressure drives us to validate past decisions through action. Remember the ancient parable, Zenzi slaughtering the pig we learned as children? Same principle. When Zengzi promised to slaughter a pig for his son, his wife dismissed it as child's play. But Zengzi insisted. Promises require action. Parents must model integrity. Children mirror parental behavior. Broken promises teach dishonesty. In society, inconsistent people get labeled as unreliable or unstable. Conversely, consistency correlates with strength and intelligence. Commitments become psychological anchors in this principle. Beware trivial requests. Casual agreements reshape self-perception. Initial compliance snowballs into unrelated concessions. Cialdini calls this foot in the door technique. Example: written commitments prevent contract breaches. American Cancer Society's fundraising strategy. Researcher Steve Sherman first asked residents hypothetically about volunteering. No one wants to appear uncharitable. Commitments secured. When actual requests followed, volunteers increased sevenfold. Corporate example, P&G's I Love N Because contests. Participants unknowingly reinforce brand loyalty through written commitments. This strategy essentially manipulates customers into believing products are worth buying through written commitments. Written commitments work because effort invested increases their psychological impact. People value hard-earned possessions more than easily acquired ones. Beyond written promises, what other commitments hold power? Verbal agreements, mental commitments, identity-based pledges all work similarly. Commitments aren't just explicit agreements. Casual remarks can bind behavior. Classic sales scenario: well-dressed salesman asks, "Do you have premium vacuum cleaner?" Homeowner freezes, caught off guard by the question. Flustered wife responds, "Ours isn't premium. Those are too expensive." Implied message, open to affordable premium options. Salesman smiles, "This premium model costs half price. Try it." He produces vacuum cleaner, leveraging implied commitment while saving face. Direct approaches like "want new vacuum" usually get rejected. Unless immediate need exists, most decline direct product pitches. How to counter commitment consistency tactics. Develop mental awareness through practice. Casual remarks can be weaponized as binding commitments. This realization creates sense of betrayal. When intuition detects deception, consistency obligations vanish. Consumers. Forget prior commitments. Ask rationally, do I truly need this? If unnecessary, refuse decisively. Third principle, social proof. Social proof theory. We mirror others' behavior when uncertain, assuming collective wisdom. Mass behavior becomes perceived truth through conformity, essentially herd mentality at work. Uncertainty triggers imitation, safety in numbers against mistakes. Psychological risk mitigation strategy. The chilling Werther effect from Goethe's The Sorrows of Young Werther. The novel's tragic ending triggered European suicide clusters post-publication. This pathological social mimicry became known as the Werther effect. Modern suicide coverage still demonstrates this dangerous copycat effect. Research shows each suicide news story claims 58 potential survivors. People imitate those similar to themselves, vulnerable groups most at risk. Struggling individuals may perceive suicide as viable escape after media exposure. Apple masterfully employs social proof in marketing strategies. Apple ads showcase vibrant, individualistic aesthetics across visuals and narratives. Strategic messaging. Apple users embody cutting-edge, nonconformist identity. Apple wants viewers to associate these traits with product users. Thus, self-perceived trendsetters gravitate towards Apple products. Apple leverages social proof to shape consumer attitudes and drive purchases. Classic marketing application. Regardless, this tactic proves remarkably effective. Cialdini notes uncertainty in unfamiliar environments amplifies social proof's power. Chinese brands like Haier, Lenovo, Tencent face challenges expanding overseas despite initial success. Experts suggest enhancing consumer brand alignment through social proof for market penetration. The 2016 Barcelona MWC, Huawei changed logo from red to monochrome. Huawei's Eric Xu explained, red grabs attention, monochrome conveys international sophistication. Red carries aggressive fire or blood connotations in Western contexts. Monochrome evokes elegance and neutrality across cultures. Analysts view Huawei's color shift as strategic cultural adaptation. Monochrome aligns better with global aesthetic preferences. This rebranding signals openness and cross-cultural integration. People automatically follow social proof mechanisms. Resistance requires conscious rationality and skepticism towards manipulative tactics. Remember, truth often resides with the minority for self-protection. When considering financial investments, salespeople aggressively promote how many purchase this product. Never blindly trust ROI claims or sales figures. If it sounds too good, it probably is. What sustains such high returns? Resolutely reject herd mentality and get rich quick temptations. Fourth principle, liking. We comply more with those we admire. Even strangers can exploit this through calculated affinity building. Cialdini's good cop, bad cop interrogation example. Common TV drama trope. Two officers enter interrogation room. Bad cop employs intimidation tactics, creating psychological pressure. Then good cop enters as reasonable mediator, portraying empathy and offering cooperation opportunities. Suspects perceive good cop as ally, eventually transitioning from interrogator to confessional priest figure. This explains why well-groomed politicians often win elections. My car ads feature sexualized models. All demonstrate liking principles, psychological alchemy, affinity triggers, physical attractiveness, shared backgrounds, positive interactions. Celebrity endorsements leverage this principle masterfully. Why do celebrity ads dominate? Brands persistently link products with stars. Proven psychological affinity exploitation. Sports brands pay top athletes to associate products with their success and positive image. Cosmetic brands use trending celebrities to capitalize on fan admiration. However, the liking principle carries risks. Celebrity scandals directly impact endorsed products. How to counter liking principle, focus on substance over surface. If developing unusual affinity quickly, sound mental alarms. They might be manipulating your preferences. Separate salesperson from product merits during transactions. Depth principle. Authority. Titles, clothes, symbols, command obedience, even overriding rationality. Medical field shows authority's power most dramatically. Medication error case study. Researchers called 22 hospital departments posing as doctors, ordered nurses to administer 20 milligrams drug, double maximum dose via unauthorized phone order, violated multiple protocols, unauthorized prescription and dosage. 95% nurses complied despite red flags. What constitutes authority perception? Three key symbols: titles, attire, status markers. Titles represent the most complex yet accessible authority symbol. Difficult through legitimate achievement, easy through self-proclamation. Charlatans often self-bestow titles like miracle doctor for credibility. Professors automatically command deference in conversations. Clothing provides tangible but easily falsified authority cues. Police records show frequent uniform-based scams. Imposters rotate medical coats, police uniforms, military attire. Victims usually recognize clothing deception too late. Status markers. Luxury cars, designer clothes, jewelry convey authority. San Francisco study. Luxury car drivers receive preferential treatment. TV shopping channels became authority principle battlegrounds. Pharmaceutical ads consistently feature white-coated experts, either conducting consultations or touting miraculous cures. Miracle doctors peddle panaceas through authoritative TV personas. Victims discover too late these experts lack credentials. Blind obedience to fabricated authority symbols causes widespread harm. Countermeasures. Verify credentials and maintain healthy skepticism towards experts. When verification fails, default to skepticism. When truth discernment falters, maintain doubt. Sixth principle, scarcity. Rarity breeds desire, triggering irrational impulses. Why do misprinted $1 bills fetch hundreds times face value? Why do banned films become irresistible? Auction frenzy demonstrates scarcity's psychological grip. Limited quantities and deadlines fuel FOMO, fear of missing out. Cialdini. Scarcity transforms trash into treasure through perceived rarity. Year-end sales create shopping frenzies for unnecessary items. Real estate agents fake competing buyers to trigger urgency. Mentioning other interested parties pressures hesitant clients. Romantic relationships exploit scarcity through fabricated rivals. Countering scarcity requires conscious effort against primal urges. Remember, scarcity doesn't enhance actual value. Rare items function identically to abundant ones. These 6 principles constitute influence's operational pathways. To recap: 1. Reciprocity, give and take principle. 2. Commitment, consistency, behavioral alignment. 3. Social proof, herd mentality mechanism. 4. Liking, affinity-driven compliance. 5. Authority, blind obedience triggers. 6. Scarcity, perceived rarity enhancement. Now, summarizing key concepts from Influence. The book decodes influence mechanics through fixed behavior patterns, cognitive shortcuts, and contrast principles, operationalized via 6 pathways we've explored. It reveals interpersonal psychological mechanisms, enabling us to recognize and resist manipulative tactics in daily interactions. That concludes our influence analysis. Full notes below. See you tomorrow.